When a plant starts acting weird, the first thing you do is stop guessing and look at where the damage is showing up. Plants don't scream, they leave clues. If the whole plant looks sad at the same time, droopy, limp, universally depressed, you're probably dealing with an environmental screw-up. Overwatering turns leaves yellow and mushy because the roots are literally drowning. Underwatering does the opposite and crisps the edges until they feel like ancient parchment you weren't supposed to touch. Symmetrical damage across the plant usually means you did something wrong. Congratulations. Now, if the problem is clean, organized, and suspiciously specific, you're probably staring at a nutrient deficiency. Nitrogen issues hit the old leaves first. The plant straight up cannibalizes its bottom leaves, draining them into a uniform pale yellow so new growth can survive. Iron deficiency is sneakier. It attacks new leaves only, causing intraveinal chlorosis, yellow leaf tissue with veins so green they look photoshopped. That level of precision is not random. That's chemistry sending you a memo. But when the damage looks chaotic, spots, holes, fuzz, or pure nonsense energy, that's when you know something is alive and doing crimes. Fungal infections leave dark spots with clean yellow halos like warning signs. Pests leave receipts. Spider mites drop fine webbing. Aphids leave sticky residue. Chewing insects punch tiny holes like they're testing armor durability. Random damage means an invader. And trust me, plants do not forgive trespassers. While trimming the roots, you may also notice that some of the leaves have completely died out or are far too damaged to recover. Just like the roots, these leaves no longer serve the plant and can actually drain energy that the orchid needs to heal. Dying leaves are usually soft, yellow, or even starting to turn brown at the edges. Sometimes they detach on their own with just a gentle tug, but if they're still hanging on firmly, it's best to remove them with clean scissors or shears. Always make sure your tools are sterilized before cutting to prevent spreading any disease. When removing leaves, cut as close as possible to the base without damaging the crown. This is the very center of the plant where new leaves will eventually grow. Next, we're going to give the plant a gentle wash to clean away any remaining debris. After trimming the roots, there may still be small pieces of moss, dirt, or even rotted tissue clinging to them. The easiest way to remove this is by using a gentle stream of water, either from a hose with a soft spray setting or directly from a sink. Hold the plant carefully by the base and let the water flow over the roots, moving it around so that all sides are rinsed. The goal here is not to blast the roots, but simply to wash away anything that might still be stuck. If you notice stubborn bits of old substrate, just work them loose with your fingers while the water runs over them. This rinsing process also refreshes the roots, rehydrating any that are still healthy and alive. It gives you one last chance to inspect the plant closely and make sure you've removed all of the unhealthy parts. After washing the plant to remove any remaining debris or old substrate, we'll take a clean, dry cloth or some tissues and carefully pat the orchid dry. This step is often overlooked, but it makes a big difference. Leaving the plant wet, especially around freshly cut roots or leaves, can invite bacteria or fungal growth, which could slow down recovery. Now we can prepare a gentle fertilizer to help our orchid recover and grow stronger. For this recipe, we'll be starting with ginger, which provides natural nutrients and stimulates root growth. Measure out about 20 milliliters of the liquid. If you don't have a precise measuring tool, you can use a cup with indicators marked on the side. This will make it easy to get the right amount without guessing. After adding the ginger, we're going to dilute it with about 500 to 600 milliliters of clean water. Pour the water slowly into the container. Next, we'll add 3 teaspoons of rice grain directly into the mixture. Rice is a wonderful natural ingredient because as it soaks, it slowly releases starches and trace nutrients that orchids can benefit from. Think of it as a mild, long-lasting energy source for the plant. Make sure to stir the solution again after adding the rice so everything blends nicely together. Now, close the lid tightly and let the mixture sit for a full day. This resting period allows the rice grains to soften and begin releasing their natural starches and nutrients into the water, while the ginger gently infuses throughout the solution. After one full day, it's time to check on our solution. Go ahead and remove the lid, and before doing anything else, give the mixture a quick stir. This helps bring up any nutrients that may have settled at the bottom. Next, we'll strain the liquid through a fine mesh or strainer. This step is very important because we don't want any rice grains or solid particles clogging up our spray bottle or sticking around in the potting medium. What we need is just the clear, nutrient-rich liquid. Once strained, we'll have a smooth and ready-to-use fertilizer solution for our orchid. Now we're ready to put this natural fertilizer to use. Take a clean tissue or a soft cloth and dip it into the solution we've just prepared. Make sure the tissue is thoroughly soaked, but not dripping excessively. This way it holds enough liquid to work effectively without making a mess. Once it's ready, begin gently wiping the orchid's leaves. Start from the base of the leaf and glide your way smoothly toward the tip. This movement not only delivers nutrients through the leaf surface, but also helps clean away dust and small particles that may have built up over time. Next, we're going to give the orchid roots a nourishing soak. Pour the prepared solution into a clean, large container, something wide and deep enough to comfortably fit the orchid's root system. Gently place the plant into the container, making sure only the roots are submerged in the liquid. Be careful to keep the leaves and crown above the surface, as we don't want water sitting there and risking crown rot. Once the roots are in, let the plant sit and soak for about 25 minutes. After 25 minutes have passed, carefully lift the orchid out of the solution. Hold it gently above the container and allow the extra liquid to drip away so the roots aren't overly wet. You'll notice right away that the plant already looks a little different compared to before the soak. Take a closer look at the roots. If they were previously dull, grayish, or wrinkled, now many of them will appear plumper, firmer, and greener. This is the first sign that the orchid has rehydrated and is actively pulling in the nutrients we provided. Some roots may even shift from a silvery tone to a fresh, vibrant green, a healthy response that tells us the plant is alive and ready to recover. Now let's prepare a fresh new home for our orchid. Start with a clean pot that has clear drainage holes at the bottom. Drainage is very important because orchids never like to sit in water. It allows any excess moisture to flow out freely, keeping the roots healthy and preventing rot. Place the orchid gently into the pot, positioning it so that the crown sits just above the rim and the roots spread naturally inside. Take your time to adjust the plant so it sits upright and stable. This step is crucial. If the orchid is leaning or set too deep, it may struggle later on. Once the plant is in place, slowly begin filling the pot with pine bark. Add the bark in layers, gently shaking or tapping the pot as you go so that the pieces settle between the roots without leaving big air gaps. Continue until the pot is filled, but make sure the crown of the orchid remains uncovered. Pine bark is ideal because it provides good aeration while still holding just enough moisture for the roots to thrive. Next, we'll cover the top layer with moss. This step may look simple, but plays an important role in orchid care. The moss helps maintain surface moisture, keeps the bark underneath from drying out too quickly, and also gives the pot a neat, finished look. Take a small handful of clean, damp moss and gently spread it across the surface of the pot. You don't want to pack it down tightly. Just lay it lightly so that air can still flow through. Remember, orchids love fresh air around their roots, so the moss should act as a soft blanket rather than a heavy cover. This top layer will also make it easier for you to judge when the plant needs watering. As the moss begins to dry, it's a natural signal that your orchid is ready for a drink. While we're placing moss on top, did you know that moss isn't just for decoration? In nature, orchids often grow on tree branches where moss and other organic matter naturally collect around their roots. By adding a thin layer of moss in our pots, we're actually recreating a little piece of that natural environment. After we're done repotting, the care process continues just as before. Orchids love consistency, so we'll return to the same routine: gentle watering, proper light, and regular leaf cleaning when needed. Remember to always water around the pot so moisture reaches the roots evenly, and let the excess drain out completely. With their new home and fresh medium, the roots will breathe better and the plant will recover more quickly. Over time, you'll notice the leaves becoming firmer, the roots growing stronger, and eventually, the orchid rewarding your patience with new blooms. After 4 weeks, you'll begin to notice clear signs of recovery in your orchid. The leaves, which may have once looked limp or wrinkled, now appear firmer, with a smoother surface and a deeper green color. If you gently touch them, you'll feel they have regained their strength, no longer folding so easily under your fingers. The roots also tell an important story. When you look closely through the pot or check near the surface, you might see plump green or silvery white roots, many with fresh green tips pushing forward. These growing tips are the clear sign that the orchid is once again absorbing water and nutrients effectively. Even the crown, that central point where new leaves emerge, may begin to show small, tender leaves unfolding. They often appear lighter in color at first, a soft green, before deepening as they mature. This is the orchid's way of telling you it feels safe enough to start new growth. Altogether, the plant looks more alive, more resilient. It may not be blooming yet, but these subtle changes are just as exciting as flowers, because they mean your orchid is gaining back its energy and strength. But from this point onward, routine care becomes absolutely critical. Orchids are not the kind of plant that will forgive irregular habits. They truly thrive on consistency. Think of it like a rhythm. Small, repeated actions that build up over time into lasting strength and beauty. Continue using the same natural solution we prepared earlier. Once a week, use it to gently wipe the leaves. This doesn't just make them shine. It removes dust, prevents pests from settling, and allows the leaves to breathe more easily. When you wipe, remember to clean both the top and underside of each leaf, moving from the base toward the tip. The undersides are often overlooked, but they're just as important, as this is where tiny pests often hide. The same solution can also be used to support the roots. Every 7 to 10 days, depending on how quickly your moss and bark dry out, you can either soak the roots for about 20 to 25 minutes or water slowly around the edges of the pot. The key is balance. The roots need to absorb enough moisture to plump up, but they also need to dry out between waterings to avoid rot. Always let the excess water drain away completely. Never leave the pot sitting in water. This steady routine mimics the orchid's natural environment, where rain and humidity come in cycles rather than constant soaking. Over time, the plant learns to rely on this rhythm, drawing strength from the regular care you provide. And while it may feel like small steps, a wipe here, a soak there, these little acts are what fuel new leaves, stronger roots, and eventually those beautiful flower spikes we all look forward to. After 2 full months of gentle, consistent care, and would you look at that? The orchid has completely transformed compared to where we started. The leaves, which once drooped and felt soft to the touch, now stand with firmness. They have gained back their elasticity, and when you press them lightly, you can feel the strength inside. The deep, glossy green has returned, and the older wrinkles are slowly smoothing out. Each leaf looks more alive, almost as if the plant is smiling back at you for the care it has received. The roots tell an even clearer story of recovery. If you peer through the clear sides of the pot, you'll notice thick, plump roots filling the spaces between the bark and moss. They've taken on a healthy silvery sheen when dry, and after watering, they glow with a rich green color. Some roots are pushing outward with bright green or even slightly reddish tips. These are brand new growth points, evidence that the orchid is confidently expanding. It's almost as though the plant is reaching out, eager to anchor itself even more strongly in its new home. Now, take a closer look at the crown, that central hub where all new growth begins. You may already see a young leaf unfurling, lighter in color than the mature leaves. It starts small and delicate, like a rolled-up scroll, then slowly stretches wider each week. This tender new growth is one of the most reliable signs of health, because orchids only invest in fresh leaves when they have enough energy stored in their roots. For some of you, there may be an extra surprise, a little pointed shoot beginning to form at the base of the plant, right between the leaves. At first glance, it might look like another root, but with time you'll notice it growing upright and straighter. The early beginnings of a flower spike. Not every orchid will show this after 2 months, but if yours does, it's proof that your routine has not only helped the plant recover, but has also prepared it for its next blooming cycle. Altogether, the orchid now carries itself with renewed vitality. The combination of stronger leaves, expanding roots, and new growth signals that the plant has found balance again. This stage is so rewarding because you can clearly see the difference between where we started and where we are now. And it all comes down to the power of patience and consistent, loving care. And there you have it. With just a little patience and routine care, our orchid has bounced back beautifully. From stronger roots to fresh new leaves, every step we've taken shows that consistency really does make all the difference. If you enjoyed this video and found it helpful, don't forget to give it a thumbs up, subscribe to the channel, and hit that notification bell so you won't miss the next orchid care tip. Share this with other plant lovers too. The more people caring for orchids, the more blooms we'll see around the world. Thank you for watching, and until next time, keep growing and keep blooming.